Welcome to A Mind for Life. We're here today with a very special video. I've talked about this subject many times before in different ways in different videos, but I want to bring it back up as a starting point for a new journey. Now, A Mind for Life is not a channel about religious dogma. It's not a guru channel. You're not going to find a how-to here. Not really. This channel is about you rolling the sleeves up and doing the work. That's the whole point of A Mind for Life. And it's not philosophical. It's not religious, as I said, and there's no gurus. Now, that being said, have you ever found yourself in a situation where you see the same things happening over and over again with your life? Let me explain. Say you try new places. You're around different people. But it seems like it always comes to the same common denominator. It might be in relationships. You know, you've had some toxic relationships. You was in one, then you were in another one. It was a different person. You were in a different place. You did things differently, but the result was still this same thing happened. Why is that? Or it could be your finances. You budget your money differently. You manage your time. But it seems like there's some force that's trying to keep you from prospering in your finances. What is that about? You do things differently. You save your money, you budget. You do all these things differently, but it still comes to this same result. That's the question that we're going to address today. And it's going to take us on a new journey in these subsequent videos. Now, you've heard this before. I didn't make this up. It's called the be, do, have equation. The be, do, have equation. You've heard this before, but let me rehash this in a way that leads us into a new direction. You become a thing. You become a person. You become a certain way. You have a certain being, which leads you to do things a certain way, which in turn leads you to having things in a certain way, which leads you to having things in a certain way. So be, do, have. That's what you call the be, do, have equation. For example, I go to school to become a doctor, right? So I go and I study, I do all of this work to become a doctor. Now, I am a doctor, right? So I start doing the things that doctors do. I prescribe medicine, I diagnose, I do things to help heal people, make people better physically. Then I start having the results of what I've done. People that are well. People, I get testimonies. I am on the staff somewhere. I receive a compensation for my work. So this is the whole idea behind be, do, have. Now, there's a short answer to the question I posed at first, and this is what I'm saying. Why is it that we have different places and different faces, but the same old stuff? People have said this: wherever you go, there you are. Wherever you go, you take yourself with you. That makes kind of sense, right? If I'm a peaceful person, wherever I go, I'm going to have that generate peace around me in some form or fashion. If I'm an angry person, I'm angry here, then I go here, I'm angry, and I get the results of that. So yes, I'm taking myself, who I am, being, wherever I go. That's the reason why things don't change. That's a short answer. That's a very general answer. But we want to go a little bit deeper than that so that we can take this journey. Now, let me go into this. Be, do, have. We often want to do to get a certain result. So we'll start doing things differently. Like I said before, you were in a toxic relationship. Well, guess what? Now you are nicer. Now you are more conscious in the relationship. Now you're more aware of who you're dealing with and the environment of that relationship. Whereas before you weren't quite that way. You sort of just moved into that. Now you're doing things a little differently. But here's the rub. It doesn't work that way. It does not work that way. In other words, if we just do things to have a different result, we are sort of like jumping ahead. We're really not taking the time to change who we are. You see, once you change who you are, you're going to do things differently. Everything that you're doing is coming from who you are. It's coming from what your being is. It's coming from your beingness. So to go from I'm going to do, and then you have a change for a little while, but then it goes back to what it was before, tells you, wait a minute, let me look at who I am. What am I being? Who am I? What is it that I'm being? See, this is the cycle that we find ourselves in when things aren't really changing for us. Don't you know, for any given situation in life, there are people who are going to have a different result with that. In the same city, you can have two, let's just take two people. They do the same field. They're in the same craft. One is prosperous, one is not. They're in the same craft. They have the same skill level. Let's just make that equal. But for some reason, one is prosperous in their creativity, their relationships, their finances, but another one is struggling. They're barely making it, barely getting by, but they have the skills. Why is that? Now, the question would be, oh, well, they need to read a book. They need to go to a seminar. They need to get a mentor. They need to do these things. But that's not the answer. Now, here's the thing about that. The answer, that is trying to get you to a different being. You understand what I'm saying? In other words, when you're going to seminars, you're getting mentors, you're gaining experience. The idea of that is transforming your being into one who is successful. That's the idea. But we don't see it as I'm transforming my being. We jump into action to change the situation. But the person who is successful, there's a different being that is doing and therefore having. So I wanted to bring up this be, do, have equation that you've probably heard out there somewhere else, but just make it a little bit more tangible to where you can understand that there's a difference between jumping into action and doing things to get a different result. That's different from being different. When you are being different, you are doing things differently. And you can look back at your own life. There were things that you used to do because you were different then, right? We say these things, these words and these concepts are floating in the milieu of our language and the way we think, but I'm helping to bring that to a more clearer focus. Be, do, have. All right. So we're going to jump into some videos that sort of build on this idea. You've heard of this before. I think, therefore I am. You've heard of this before. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. These deal with being. These deal with doing and having. And we're going to unfold this as a journey for myself as well till we get to a point where we can understand the power of being. That anything that we're having is simply coming from who we are. Period. All right. So thanks for coming to A Mind for Life. Peace out.